Thanks for that, Rich. It's great. I last talked 2 years ago, and it's great to see since then so many new faces that have been through some of that professional training. And just bumped into Ash earlier. I was hoping Ash was going to be presenting today. So he's got the challenge to be here next year talking about the great work he's done, having been through one of the professional programmes. And hopefully a volunteer from the audience that will be joining the training in June or July, that they can actually give their insights as well at the conference next year. Because to me, that's what it's all about. It's about engineers talking about good engineering principles and practices and sharing that with everyone. Probably need less people like me talking to you and more people who are doing the job with you to help you through. But what am I going to talk about? So where did this all start? So following a number of derailments, it was an investigation report into the 2013 Liverpool Street derailment that identified Network Rail didn't have a way of managing its competence of its maintenance engineers or section managers. So loads of stuff happened after that. One of them was to set up what was called the Role-Based Capability Project. And that project was all about developing professional training for engineers and section managers. And I was lucky to be brought into that team with a group of engineers across the discipline, led by a guy called Simon Goodland, who I think is now over in Wales or perhaps moved on. And he sort of led the establishment of that with a project board that covered all the regions, the infrastructure directors and heads of maintenance, as we were at the time. And when I joined the team, I had the responsibility to set up the track maintenance engineer and the section manager track programme. And from that project, in 2022, the engineers that were still involved in the project were then embedded into network rail training full-time. So I'm one of those, and Alex is currently seconded in the role. And some of you have been trained by Andy Bull, so he's still around. And we've just been joined by Gary Smales as another member of the team. Right, so what myself and Alex are going to talk about. So I'm going to give it a little overview about what is role-based training and what is role-based capability. And effectively, it's the stuff Mr. McIntosh said he wants. Okay? If we train people effectively for everything in their role, people can deliver better things. Okay? So that's the sort of the key message around that. Alex will be introducing the new assistant track maintenance programme that started in June, isn't it, that one? 2 spaces left, that's all. We've not really advertised it yet, and we're almost full. Yeah, we've got cohort 2 already booked in, so it's always good. And I'm going to.
I think Rob said he was interested.
Well, I was going to message Rob about the IME programme. You know, you might want to come and do the track module for that. It's only 2 days. So, and then I'm going to introduce the new STO programme that is launched in conjunction with the PWI in September this year. So I hear you say, what is role-based capability or what is role-based training? Okay, what it is, it brings together the skills and knowledge to think about everything you do in your role. Okay, and that's the technical and the non-technical skills. And there's a term there, the business skills. That's the collection of all the other things that Network Rail has decided that you need. Okay, so it's not just engineering. It's everything else involved to help you in your effective decision making. Okay, to find out that capability, there's analysis undertaken that identifies all the learning needs, and then they're prioritised. Because we can't do everything. So that priority looks at, what can we afford, how much time can people be released, and actually where is the most benefit going to be given by people put into training. And Network Rail took this on about 4 years ago, but the concept isn't new. Okay, the concept's been going a long, long, long time. Within the aviation sector, engineers and technicians, they're all trained to consider their decision-making with people, processes and equipment in mind. They're taught to think about the whole life cost of their decisions, the safety and the performance impact. Okay. Within the United Kingdom Armed Forces, within the Royal Navy, the Army and the Air Force, people going into their first safety critical role can expect to get 12 months full-time training before they go into that appointment. And that training is going to cover their leadership, it's going to cover their management, commercial and financial awareness, project management, and together with the engineering skills and knowledge that's relevant to their discipline. So role-based training has loads of benefits. Rob talked about the benefits of, we've seen better asset performance, but it makes people better. Okay? It prepares them for the challenges that they are facing or they're going to face into a role they're about to go into. And since the launch of the TME and the Section Manager Programme, Network Rail's seen individuals, they've expanded their professional networks, they've made more effective decisions, and being truthfully honest, they're getting better performing assets. But did Network Rail stop with Section Manager and Maintenance Engineer? No, it didn't. Little slide there about the 4-track, the modules or the training programs that are available. So that was fed by the success of, I'm going to say myself, I'm happy to blow my own trumpet sometimes, the success of the track maintenance engineer and the section manager track programs accelerated the development of the maintenance engineer section manager programs for E&P and signalling. And for track, that success also meant we got additional funding for the RME, the ATME, STO and TO role, which for a discipline, I think that's pretty amazing. And what it also does now, for a new entrant into a technical officer role, they've got structured development opportunities all the way through to IME. So for me, that's a massively powerful tool to say we can bring someone in, we can develop, we can upskill them in a structured way to be the next Rob McIntosh and beyond. Okay. So for the track programs, they vary in 10 days, and the TME program is the longest of 25 days. But we are reviewing and we are considering the content, and we've just reduced the section manager program through delegate feedback and evaluation, and we've taken that from 25 days to 20. There's much more focus there on the business skills for the section manager and the sort of the transferable skills they need rather than some of the technical content, and that's landed really well. So I'll hand over to Alex, who's going to take us through the new ATME programme.
They say those that can't do, teach, and those that can't teach track engineering. I've been teaching track engineering now for about 18 months, and the biggest challenge we've got is how can we help people make better decisions through training? Show of hands, who's made a bad decision at work? Who's made a really bad one? Do you have your hand up?
I'll put my hand up.
I did have a list if nobody put their hands up, but Andy, you're on the list. I've made loads. In fact, I've made some absolute shockers in my time at Network Rail. And there's this one which sticks out in my mind quite clearly. And I was quite new into the role of the TME and really keen, a bit green at the time, hair still growing strong, probably beating Richard on the shine contest today. We had this rail defect, and it just crossed the threshold which required a speed restriction. And somehow I was managed to be convinced that it was the right thing to do not to put a speed restriction on because it was too difficult to put the boards up. It's probably career suicide telling a room full of track engineers that, but it's the truth. But would I have got that question right on a knowledge test in one of our normal training courses? You can picture the question now. Should you put a speed restriction on this rail defect? Yes, absolutely. No, not required. No, too difficult. It's dead easy, isn't it? Of course you're going to get it right. But when you introduce stress, pressure, lack of assertiveness, the outcome doesn't always go your way, does it? So we've tried to develop a training course which measures its success based on the decisions that the delegates make back in the workplace. So I went through my professional training when I was quite new into the role of a track engineer, and it really helped me. It helped me grow as a person and grow into the role. This course has been developed by track engineers for track engineers.
What this course will give you is it's been designed specifically for what do you need to know about the infrastructure, what do you need to know about people, and what do you need to know about the business management specifically for your role.
It will introduce you to the standards in a depth that you might not have seen previously, in a role where your line manager won't be able to teach you as much as this course will do.
You can easily focus your time on the reactive stuff, whereas I think this course has made me think more strategically and kind of grounded me.
I didn't have any experience of Network Rail standards, processes, what the role actually fully involved. I talked to people who've done the role and find all the different documents, pieces of paper and processes that would help me.
One of the takeaways for me was to know what to do when I didn't know what to do, and that might be having somebody new to contact to discuss a problem, or just having the confidence to say, I actually don't know what to do here and I need some help.
You're working with similar people in similar positions who want similar aspirations. You set up support groups internally and people that are like-minded. You can then feed off each other. You can work with instructors. You can make focus groups decide on this is an area we need a bit more support on. Everyone is incredibly helpful. Everyone works together because everyone's looking after the same goal.
The advice I'd give to anybody attending the course is to enjoy it. Go there with an open mind, make as many connections as possible throughout the programme, and keep in contact with them people afterwards.
Once you've completed the programme that's going to last about 12 months, we want you to stay engaged with your cohorts. We want you to be communicating, we want you to be carrying on learning together as a professional engineer.
So delegates are expected to come away after the event and actually get some stuff done. It's not just a case of coming here to learn and that's it. You are expected to go back to your depots and put into practice what you've been learning, and then come back and tell us about what you've been doing.
We've been delivering the track maintenance engineer and section manager programmes for the last 4 years, and what we've seen from those is people really engage with the learning, engage with their cohort, engage with other people around them. They're achieving great things.
It's a delegate that has the lucky opportunity to be involved in it. This gives them a great level of underpinning knowledge. This will allow them to accelerate their career within Network Rail, becoming an engineer.
It's everything that you need to be a track engineer on the railway. Like, it gives you not just the technical skill, but also the human factors, which, like, I'd argue is, people might say it's not as important, but for me it's the most important thing. I still take that knowledge that I've taken from that course and use it in my everyday role.
It's a bit embarrassing. I've just realised I'm wearing exactly the same clothes as on that video. I do have another pair of smart clothes, but they're in the wash. So when we looked at the people that need this training, so who's in the role of the ATME, or where do they come from? So generally they're either from a technical team or they've come from a graduate background. And for most ATMEs, this will be their first time acting as a Network Rail line manager. A very proud moment. But as we know in maintenance, it's very quick and very easy to become in this cycle of firefighting, constantly reacting to things that people are throwing at you, and in this constant state of providing information for other people. You know, you've got HR Direct now starting to get in contact with you about your long-term sick cases. They want to know where your paperwork's up to. Finance managers onto you. They want a 10-page report as to why you're £4.50 overspent this period. You've got 86 Visboard measures to populate every Friday. And if it's been a quiet period, if you're really lucky, you've probably only got about 212 PowerPoint slides to produce for your various meetings. Meanwhile, somewhere out there, beyond the office walls, a nice warm office, is a railway getting absolutely battered. Crossings breaking, switches failing, inspections being rushed, geometry problems that we can't get on top of. And it's Friday morning, and you've spent all week doing all this really important stuff. So we've tried to create a training course that refocuses the mind of the track engineer as to what's really important. So what does it look like? Well, it's 25 days long, and that's split up into 5 week-long events spread out over 12 months. It's been aligned with the track professional competencies. It will act as a stepping stone towards professional registration, and it's been designed with a return of investment. I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end. So the events. Event 1. The key theme for Event 1 is stewardship. And we want everybody that attends the course to really embrace their role as a railway steward and to go back and take more care of our railway and the people that work on it. The first technical topic is manage predictive and preventative maintenance. And this really sets the scene for the whole programme. So this is about establishing a really robust inspection plan, understanding derailment risks, understanding high-risk assets, understanding the benefits of early intervention. And then with all this great information, we can help build a proactive maintenance plan. One of the challenges we get from delegates is can't afford to do proactive maintenance. But the challenge to everyone in the room is, can we afford not to? Second technical topic is assuring the lateral stability of the track. And this is all about how lateral stability is built up within the track system and also how it's compromised, and using that really good information to help better manage critical rail temperature. Throughout every event, we focus in on leadership and human factors, and they both feature in every single scenario. So you're not like me making them rubbish decisions as a new TME. Event 2. So the key theme for Event 2 is strategy. And we're encouraging delegates to stop thinking about what happened yesterday and what's happening today and this morning, and to start picturing what you want your railway to look like in 2, 5, 10 years' time, and building a strategy to get you there. It's our goal in maintenance, isn't it, to have a boringly predictable railway. It should be cakes and coffee on a Monday morning, maybe the occasional cigar, celebrating how dull and uneventful things are. Not 1B defects and TVs. As dull as this presentation, there you go, there's your target in maintenance. The two technical topics for this event are track geometry management and structure gauging management, and we've chosen them to align with strategy so that delegates will be expected to go back and put a strategy in place to improve both of them topics. Event 3. So the key theme for Event 3 is making a positive impact. And making a positive impact is really infectious, right? We all know these people who just come to work and are just amazing to be around and get stuff done and make things better. Well, we want every single delegate that comes on the course to be that person. First technical topic is maintenance surveys and designs, and this is all about being able to select the most appropriate survey and design to fix a problem. We're also going to arm people with the knowledge to be able to carry out a really robust track design review check that our technical teams produce. And the second technical topic is manage maintenance delivery, and this is all about effective scoping and specifying the right repair. So are we going to carry on tickling it? Like we were at Barrow that day? Or we're going to start tackling it? Tickling it or tackling it? No, that's hopefully not some sort of recipe for harassment in the workplace claim or issue. This is all about making sure that when we do send our precious resources to site, we absolutely nail it every time. Event 4, the S&C week. And this is a whole week dedicated to 053 and 054 management. So again, we'll look at building a really robust inspection regime, improving the inspection outputs, and with all this great information, being able to create a proactive maintenance regime on our switches and crossings for obvious reasons. The key theme for this event is engineering leadership. And I was on the Track Maintenance Engineers Community of Practice meeting back in February that Richard organises, and there was a discussion on there and a general feel amongst the track maintenance engineers at the minute that things aren't just quite right at the minute. And that's not a good place for us to be. Engineering leadership is about doing the right thing. So no matter how difficult things get, we want to give people the confidence to be able to do the right thing when the going gets tough. The fifth event is the Rail Management Week, and my cross level is spoiling this picture, and really annoyed about that. Probably should have spent more time looking at the track on my engineer's walks than taking nice pictures, but it's So the main thing for this event is getting the ATME working closer with the RME and to really understand that intrinsic link between rail defects and track geometry. And we'll do this by introducing them to creating and improving non-destructive testing plans, specifying rail friction management systems, and we'll round off with a module on wheel-rail interface. In amongst that, we'll also look at rail strength, rail wear, and rail corrosion management. So I know what you're thinking, 25 days long, going to spend an awful lot of time at the pub. What am I actually getting for my few £1,000s that it costs? Well, this has been designed with a return of investment. So delegates, to pass the course, they need to demonstrate what they are doing differently as a result of the training. And they'll do this in the form of a minimum of 3 technical reports. The really smart ones will be able to use that technical report as submission for professional registration, and we can help them with that. We'll also offer one-to-one coaching, and we want people to bring real-life problems. We want them to bring their baggage to the training, and then over the 12 months, we'll help them unload it. In addition to that, we'll also be evaluating success of the training by a number of leading indicators. So we've identified a maximum of 55 across the 5 weeks. So before they come on the programme, we'll have a sit down with the ATME, the delegate, and the TME, and we'll work out what we want them to be focusing on throughout the programme. So here's a selection of them there. If they do that, and if they do it well, it should have a positive impact on our track KPIs. So if you want to make better decisions and want to start making a positive impact, get yourself enrolled. I'll hopefully see you there.
Back to me. Take a note of the email. Right, so mention about the STO programme. So this is one that's still in the early stages, but we've got release dates and they've been published to all TMEs. But before I start, reflect on one of Annex's lines that the training is designed by engineers for engineers, and that's a fairly novel approach, and that's one that's now being used for the development of all the professional training. But we can only do that with support of engineers in the company. And just make special mention to Andy Franklin. Take a bow, give us a wave, whatever it is. So Andy's been instrumental since the start of the programme. Throughout that time, Andy's not only developed the training, he supported delegates in the delivery of training as well. His staunch support, has provided delegates his deep insight, massive experience, but he encourages the delegates to think creatively about the problems. And the motivation Andy's provided to individuals has enabled them to achieve better things. We've seen people progress in roles and actually get into the roles that they were targeting. So thanks, Andy. And on back of that, we're always looking for the volunteers. We always want more volunteers. We've got Alex over there that's supported quite a number of times. Always looking for volunteers to either join a Teams call to impart your knowledge or just have a chat with some of the delegates about stuff they're interested about. So drop me a message, and it would be great to get people involved. But coming on to the STO. So this is what we're here to talk about. So the STO programme. So up to now in the presentation, lots of talk about the engineering and the management roles. And we were fortunate to get the technical officer and senior technical officer roles into the scope for the programme. And that happened just over a year ago. The TO course went through a successful pilot, and that's now released into business as usual training this year. We've got a cohort running in Basingstoke, a cohort running in Walsall, and after bumping into Danny last night, I said, well, we'll try and get one running in Scotland as well. We're trying to get that training much more locally where possible. Okay, so what we got? So the TO's been proven success as all the other ones, so STO is now up and running, and that's going to be partly delivered by Network Rail and partly delivered by the Permanent Way Institution. So think about Permanent Way Institution in their role as being infrastructure for rail and railway infrastructure engineering, our ideal partner to deliver in collaboration with. So the 17 days, and that's going to be focused on the practical skills, and it's going to be focusing on delivering those actually on track infrastructure. So it's not a classroom-based course. There is classroom, there's practical, there'll be industry specialists coming in as well. But during that time, what we're going to be taking delegates through surveying, designs, maintenance, renewals, and project work, about how all that combines together to create safe and effective delivery plans. So, talks about that. So, what else we got going on? We're going to be talking about rail defect management, talk about mechanised maintenance, and rail stressing. And Alex touched on earlier about the ATME programme is now being designed really to think about incorporated engineering in mind. The STO programme, in conjunction with the PWI, that is very much focused on providing a really, I'm not going to say easy, but a really appropriate route to EngTech registration. And the PWI individuals running that phase of the training will be on hand to support individuals through. It's part of feedback we've had from previous delegates to say, what do they get out of it personally? Apart from being more amazing than they already were, it's about, there is that professional registration opportunity as well. And I think recognising the professionalism of engineers and technicians is really important as we progress as an industry, rail industry as a whole, to show we are a professionalised organisation. And I think personally we're perhaps a few years behind other safety critical industries in that recognition. So, what does it look like in a bit more detail? So the 17 days, they're split across 5 events, with event 1 and event 5 being delivered by Network Rail, and then 2, 3 and 4 by the PWI. So event 1 is very much about, it's a skills check. It's about bringing everyone to the required standard to enter what's going to be quite a difficult challenge with PWI for events 2, 3 and 4. So be recapping on basic surveying, on designs, and delegates' knowledge about track quality. And the idea for that is the delegates leave fully prepared for event 2, or know where their skills and knowledge gap is, and then they've got a few weeks then to get up to where they need to be ahead of entering the very technical aspect of event 2. Event 2 involves calculators, it involves numbers, it involves doing more theoretical stuff as well. So what Network Rail thought is appropriate is if we spend that time early, it's going to reduce the training wastage as people turn up to event 2 and realise they're not ready for it. Okay, so it's about trying to set everyone up to be successful. So event 2 is going to be looking at different types of track, it's going to be looking at components, measurement of cross-level, twist, cant, and specifically track quality. Okay. So the delegates will be taken through horizontal and vertical designs, gauging, hazard surveying, levelling, variety of inspections, and rail defect management. See there, we're starting to ask a lot more of our technical roles. We're trying to elevate the technical officer and senior technical officer role to really start getting involved in that technical decision making. So event 3, we're going to be taking the delegates further. We're going to be delving deeper into different surveying techniques and more advanced surveying techniques. And we're going to be carrying on with developing designs and introducing the delegates to drainage designs as well. So thinking about how do other aspects of the infrastructure influence track. And we'll be taking people through stressing and S&C. Also carrying out design reviews. And specifically for S&C, delegates will be taken through the different types of S&C, configurations, components, adjusting and measuring, and together with tamping and S&C designs. And that takes them onto the event 4, which is the final phase of the PWI delivered component, is get more into the on-track machine element, using on-track machines, and then the planning of the work, but also some of the site supervision. The planning is going to be looking at maintenance and renewal activity. So again, not just the maintenance aspect of stuff, actually when people are working on the infrastructure as a whole, what should people be doing to get better outcomes, and the site supervision of the machinery itself. And in that event, it's also going to be really going into the deeper stuff of the role, and that is looking at the elements of quality assurance, the importance of quality assurance, good documentation, and also writing effective and technical reports. So they're all key topics in that event 4. And the events 2 and 3, they're all 4 days long. I think we're currently looking in the area of Derby for that. But again, we'll be working with Danny, who'll give me a call next week to say, Simon, don't forget, about to see if we can get one running for Scotland Railways as well, to try and get that training more local. And there we go. So event 5 is the Network Rail consolidation. That's bringing the Network Rail delegates back together. Okay, it's to check what they've learned. And it's about putting plans in place with them to make sure they're going to put into practice what they've learned. It's not about learn and dump. It's not about, did I get a cheese and a ham sandwich and was that good? And if I got that, my feedback is excellent. It's about taking the delegates, are they going to put into practice their time away from work? Is it going to be meaningful? And is it going to make a positive impact to track? So that's that. So I've not quite finished, but I put that script into a little word cloud, and it does this magic stuff, and I thought, isn't that really creative and magic? And it was a way to not write another list. But just it starts to capture the words about the frequency I've said them, and that probably puts the importance of those into context. But I've not quite finished. So throughout the whole programme, it does touch broader on what it is to be a professional technician. So issues of diversity and sustainability are going to be explored, as well as the links of different engineering functions and how those functions impact rail users. As I've already touched, the key skills of decision making, prioritisation, record keeping, and data analysis are all included right through the programme as well. So the delegates, they're going to get some of their essential skills needed for their role. Okay? And throughout that time, they should have built the necessary knowledge and experience to be prepared for their EngTech registration. And during the, as I mentioned before, events 2, 3 and 4, that's going to be the key phase where we want delegates to really get going on that. And Brian Counter just popped before he said, Simon, please can give a special mention. So during this morning and this afternoon, the PDY are running professional registration workshops. So some people might be booked in for one of those this morning. They've got spaces this afternoon. And what those workshops are about is having a chat with someone from the PWI to say, what's the right membership for me? How do I go about doing it, and talking you through the process. So if anybody's considering it, what it might mean is next time you're here, there's a photo of you. There was a photo of me getting my chartered engineer last year. So do think about that. It's worthwhile. It's an independent recognition of your ability as an engineer or as a technician. It's not just Network Rail saying you're that required standard. It's independent test on you against the Engineering Council. So for me, it's a very important thing to do. So you've seen enough. Talk through all that now. So you've seen a few of these slides. You've seen sort of the more information and booking slides, and I put a generic email address there of rbctraining@networkrail.co.uk. All those messages go to one of my colleagues, and they try and answer the questions about where to book, how to book, what's the right course for you, is it appropriate, what am I going to get out of it. I'm more than happy to take those questions direct, so simon.day@networkrail, or I'll put Alex on the spot as well, so Alex will take those, particularly about the ATME, because Alex has led the ATME development, so he's sort of key placed into all that. But there's a small team of senior engineers in Network Rail training, and all of them have come from maintenance experience background, which for me, I think that's really novel. So they're engineers and section managers that can understand the challenges of what the delegates are facing. The programmes, they're all fantastic for succession planning. And I've just got a little quote from a former delegate who said, "The learning and thinking of things from a higher level really helped me and gave me confidence to challenge myself. And by the time of the 4th week had come around, and I managed to land myself into a new role. And I've now got that job permanently." So that to me is what it's all about. It's about developing the capability into role. And what does it mean? It means if we develop ourselves professionally, it is going to contribute to that simpler, better and greener railway. Thank you very much.